They paved it with bricks, and they've raced it for over 100 years and a quarter century of NASCAR racing. And for the last 8 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series qualifying up next for the drivers of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Good afternoon, everyone. Dave Burns along with NASCAR Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett, famous for winning here twice and starting the tradition of kissing the bricks back in 1996. We know that the IndyCar drivers made this place world famous, Dale. Why is it so important to stock car drivers?
Because most stock car drivers never thought they would have the opportunity to race here. You know the history of this place. I mean, you drive through the tunnel, it's a different feel than you get going most anywhere else. So that opportunity is now afforded to stock car racers in NASCAR, that opportunity to come here and race at the world's most famous speedway. Now, a lot of these young guys, they knew that that opportunity was there, but it still means just as much to them to be able to come here, compete, and have that opportunity to win.
We talk about the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Names are made here. So a lot of the drivers, younger and less experienced, Dale, they're going to hit the track for the first time today in qualifying. How difficult a task?
Yeah, there's probably not a place that's more difficult. They were on the track for the last time yesterday for 2 practice sessions, but things change. When you get out here and understand the magnitude of what this is about, wanting to get that good starting spot, and you're going out here basically having to run wide open around this racetrack for the first time that you do things today, that's an incredibly difficult task. But they'll be up for it, and somebody's going to get a pole that's going to be very meaningful to them.
That term, wide open, you're going to hear that a lot. Speaking of which, Steve Letart's going to join us from the Mobile One Peacock Pit Box when we come back, and cars will roll. We all know these NASCAR drivers love to talk, and you'll love to listen to them if you call up NASCAR.com/scanner. Start your subscription today, and you'll never watch a race without it again. Dale, did you ever get caught for something you probably shouldn't have said over the air?
I used to warn all the UPS people that would come to the races, and they would give them those scanners. I said, look, in our hospitality, I'm not liable for everything that I say here. Just understand that.
Let me apologize ahead of time.
Just get this out front.
Hey, engines are firing. That's a good sound, and I know someone that can hear them pretty well on the Peacock Pit Box, sponsored by Mobile One, Steve.
Oh, this is it. This is the best seat in the house. I feel back home again down here on pit road, and I think DJ put it best. There's something special about Indianapolis Motor Speedway, this pit road, this front stretch, grandstands on the front and on the outside and the inside. It's like nothing else. Every race driver in the field today and tomorrow grew up watching racing here, whether it was the Indy 500 or for the Xfinity Series. You have to remember, for years they raced at the short track, about 5 or 6 miles away. 25 years the Cup cars have run here, but this is the 8th ever Xfinity Series race. So much like Dale said, winning here, running here, even just making laps here is so special compared to any other racetrack. And qualifying, I think, means more here than any other racetrack. You know, stats would say that you need to run up front and qualify up front if you want to have a great chance of winning later this afternoon.
My family tradition was my dad had the radio on back when you couldn't see it on TV, the 500 that is, and washing the car. Yeah, that was partly my job. Put me to work. Memorial Day weekends were fun, and of course, summer weekends at the Brickyard once NASCAR started coming here. Joey Gates, the first driver on track for qualifying. He will get basically a warm-up around the track and then be on the clock. And NASCAR will send them out 15 seconds in between, Dale, basically packs of 3 at a time. They're trying to move qualifying along, yet not give drivers the benefit of the draft during qualifying, right? Yeah, and as a driver, you have to make sure that you're ready to go at that designated time, or it kind of messes things up. And so hopefully we'll have all of that working in sync for everyone. But yes, they won't no drafting help. They're going to be far enough apart that they're not going to get themselves in that situation. If they do, they're going to find themselves having their time disallowed. Let's hear from the 4th member of our team today. Dylan Welch is with Noah Gregson.
Hey, Dave, and Noah made his first laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway yesterday. So how was it that first time down the front stretch going into one?
Well, I was able to drive the pace car around the racetrack during the rookie rides, and it was almost scarier driving that thing around this place. So I was really nervous going into my first lap here at Indy. You're going down the front straightaway. It's like driving down a bowling alley, and they tell you to hook a 90-degree left at the end, and I thought that was the craziest thing ever, and you can't see the exit of the corner, and it was definitely very scary and nervous for me. But you know what they say? They say nut up or shut up, so I had to nut up, and so I think we got a pretty good switch Camaro today. The guys at Junior Motorsports, everybody back at the shop, and all the guys on the road with us, they've been working so hard to get our Camaros up to speed. So really fortunate to be racing here. I was taking some pictures to send it back to my family in Las Vegas. So I don't know, we're racing at Indy, the Brickyard. This place is so damn cool. I'm excited for today.
Soaking it all in. Thanks, Noah.
Dale talking to several first-time drivers here, walking through the tunnel, driving through the tunnel, getting on the track for the first time. It's much bigger to them, they told me on several occasions, and it's bigger in their hearts too. They just get here and they're like, whoa, I'm at Indy. Yeah, but then once you get out on the track and you see just how narrow these straightaways are, especially down this front straightaway, it becomes totally intimidating because it is so big. And then you have these 4 distinct corners that makes it so difficult. The other thing is you'll see this surface is really dark here, and there are no lines in the corners. That is different than what most drivers are used to. You have the white line down the very bottom, and then from that, there is nothing giving you any direction. So I think that could get interesting in this afternoon's race. Mills and McLeod finish up. You know what you do when you go someplace cool? You take photos, and of course, Gregson has plenty. And isn't it wonderful when these drivers say things that we're only thinking and about saying and know that we probably shouldn't, but they can get away with it? I love that. These young guys. Absolutely. Yep, you follow Noah on any social media, you're going to be entertained for sure. And you probably will be in the race, too. Ran well last week at Darlington. Again, he's a fast rookie, Dale. Yeah, and you know, he has this aggressive nature about him on the racetrack, getting the most out of it every single lap. And I think that could be something that could really pay off with this rule package. What we've seen over the last couple of years with this racing, that it rewards that type of driving. Josh Williams on track now, 4th qualifier of the afternoon. Look over on the lower left, Dale. Qualifying traditionally very important here. Of all the tracks that the Xfinity Series races on, only one other has winners that qualify that far up.
You know, this is one of those places because of how long the straightaways are, and even with this package that we have now with these Xfinity cars, you have to have a fast car to have a chance at this. Yeah, you can get yourself in a drafting position and you might make something happen, but generally it's those cars that start up front are the ones that are going to find themselves in position to win at the end.
Kyle Busch on track in this group here. Again, NASCAR releasing them about 15 seconds apart. Gives them plenty of time to be on their own lap.
And there's no doubt he'll be one of those we will be watching all afternoon.
Very, very good here, Kyle Busch. In whatever series, he swept the weekend a couple of times when winning both the Cup Series race and the Xfinity Series race. This will be the last Xfinity Series race of his season this year. Limited, of course, being a full-time Cup competitor. And this weekend, by the way, just a reminder, not the cutoff weekend for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. While the Cup guys at the Brickyard 400 tomorrow will be racing to see who's in and who's out, these drivers will have one more weekend at Las Vegas next week to determine that. Now, can Kyle just go out and dominate? Well, the last couple weeks have not been exactly what he's been looking for. Very fast race car right there, breaks the suspension part, Dale.
Yeah, and so it's been things that just happened that we normally don't see happening to this driver and this team that have put him in a bad position. He goes in as the favorite, he shows up in the race and is still the favorite until something happens.
This was at Bristol, and once again, issues for the driver who was set to dominate after engine issues put him sidelined there.
Yeah, and so we're going to make him the favorite today as we set up the race because he's going to be that. He just went out and put down an extremely fast lap here. So he's going to be the guy that everybody's going to judge by. But what can happen? You have to get through the entirety of this race.
Dylan, you're from this area, and one of the most fun things are drivers who get to race the Brickyard who are from Indiana.
Yeah, a couple Indiana boys down here with Justin Haley. So first things first, cool paint scheme on your car, cool wrap this week. Can you explain what that tribute is?
Yeah, so it's just basically a family throwback scheme that my uncle Todd, my uncle Drew, my uncle Brent, they had on some of their quarter midgets, and also my grandpa's dragster. So really cool that I could do a throwback to them and kind of honor them and every single one of them for what they've done for my career. But hopefully we can get a win here, my hometown race.
We were just talking, you're full throttle around here in qualifying. What can you do to make up time?
Well, I don't really know. It's kind of like truck qualifying, which I've been doing for the past couple of years. You just try to shorten the track up as much as possible, cut distance, and we'll be wide open here for qualifying, so whatever I can get out of it, I can get out of it. But really proud of the Colleague Racing guys for bringing 2 fast Chevrolets. Got awesome ECR power under the hood this weekend, which is going to be crucial for qualifying at a place like this.
Yeah, they've been good so far this weekend. Justin Haley about ready to climb aboard his car here in just a little bit.
You hear the silence at the Brickyard. That is because Kyle Weatherman had issues in the 17 coming to the line, and you're going to see a puff of smoke, Dale.
Wow. Yeah, just before he takes the checkered flag there to finish his lap, something lets go underneath the hood there. Of course, at the speeds they're running here, NASCAR making sure that no fluids down and on the track for the other competitors coming out.
Mm-hmm. You can see the teams all lined up ready to go in qualifying order, and behind them.
Yeah, nothing worse than seeing this as a driver sitting there getting ready to go out on the track.
And it looks like you got it down on the access road down there, so that's good. But even on the straightaway, Dale, you can pick up a little bit of that moisture and would be good heading to turn 1.
Yeah, exactly. And even running through, if they have to put some stay dry down, just getting that on your tires and then know that you're approaching the corner.
Steve Letarte, quietest the Mobil 1 Peacock pit box will probably be all afternoon. You want to talk to somebody?
Yeah, it is absolutely the quietest while we have Red on the racetrack. It gives us a chance. Christopher Bell has joined us. Christopher, thanks for coming down. I know qualifying later today. 6 wins, a great year, playoffs, so many storylines. But I ask you as a race car driver, coming to Indianapolis, you ran here last year. This is your 2nd race. Is this a race that you put kind of the season behind you? Don't worry about the playoffs. It's all about winning at the Brickyard?
Yeah, and especially the situation we're in now. I think we're pretty much out of the regular season championship at this point. So this is a race that we had circled at the beginning of the year that we wanted to win at, just because it's Indy, right? And now our point situation, we're really just out there fighting for the stage wins and the playoff or the race wins.
So when I look at your history, you start open wheel, more on the dirt than on the asphalt, but we see so many different career paths. You end up in trucks and NASCAR. Was there ever like a dream as a little boy running those dirt tracks of being an open wheel driver and perhaps ending up here in an IndyCar?
Yeah, I mean, really, Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Indy 500 was always kind of the pinnacle growing up where I did in Oklahoma dirt track racing and open wheel racing. You look at the USAC stars, and then the guys like Brian Clausen was always one of my idols, and he raced here a couple times. So I would say the Indy 500 was definitely the pinnacle whenever I was growing up on the dirt tracks.
Well, you mentioned Brian earlier this week. The BC39 was run inside on the dirt track. You took part. How cool is it to see a venue like Indy, which is held, in such high regard in all of our minds and hearts as racers, to put that dirt track in and to run a dirt show on the grounds of Indianapolis?
Well, I think more so it goes to show how cool Doug Bowles is, the promoter here at Indy. He really, really has a soft spot for dirt track racing, and you look out throughout the summer, and he'll be at Indiana Midget Week races or Indiana Sprint Week races, and for him to actually put a dirt track inside the world's most famous speedway is really cool. And to give, it's always awesome whenever you have dirt races on top of NASCAR races, because there is a, NASCAR fans don't really know much about the dirt track side of things, so it gives them an opportunity to go and check it out. And it was a great crowd, and it has been the last 2 years.
Well, you've had success in the area, two-time Turkey Night winner in a midget. There were the midgets there mostly. Yep. How about today? Talk about, I watched practice. It seemed like, I'm not going to call it a 30-car pack, but 4, 5, 6, 7-car packs. With this aero package, you definitely need to time your runs and get a tow. How is your car been driving? What do you expect later?
Man, it's been really good. Last year, we came to Indy with the same package, but we didn't have any practice time. So everything was an unknown, especially for me. I'd never even made a lap around the place until they dropped the green flags. So that was exciting, but it was nice to be able to get some laps in practice. And whenever we unloaded, I'm pretty sure the majority of the cars went out and made single-car runs, and all 3 of our Gibbs cars were right at the top of the time sheet there. So I think we've got a lot of speed, especially in my Ream Supra, and KB and Brandon Jones are obviously really good as well. So I think we've got a shot at it.
Yeah, anytime KB's in the field, he's obviously going to be one of the favorites, but as a teammate, do you look forward to racing against him? Do you like having him, in the debriefs, driving the Xfinity cars?
Man, I love it. I mean, I love it just for the fact that he's the best, and we get to race against him and see how we stack up, and he pushes us to be better too. So, this rules package kind of, at least qualifying, we don't really know exactly how we stack up, but it's just a different form of racing, and hopefully we can beat them.
So I've seen a lot of great finishes here at the Brickyard and a lot of dirt tracks, but have you seen anything like the first night over at the dirt track with Larson and the 3 car? I mean, basically, I think they started 20, right? There was 20 that started this main. These were the last 3 standing, and these close. It was slider after slider. What a finish.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was sitting in the infield about right there in turn 3, so I had a pretty good view of it. Pickens, Grant, and Larson are obviously all really great race car drivers, and the fans were treated to a good one, that's for sure. Yeah,
no, it was a great race. I expect a great race later this afternoon. It's just the town, downtown, the airport. Indianapolis arguably doesn't like no other location. When you come in, you know it is race week in Indianapolis. I know you're going to put a great show on. I appreciate you coming down here and joining us. It's going to be exciting. How about qualifying? Is it wide open? I mean, is it wide open, kind of just run an efficient lap?
It's Daytona. Okay. Yeah, there's not much to qualifying here, but the race will be fun.
Race is going to be fun. We're going to be tuning in later. I appreciate you coming to join me, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're back qualifying here. Xfinity Series qualifying from the Brickyard. Looks to me like, Dave, they got the track cleaned up. We got more cars on the track.
Looking good out there. Vinny Merrill will be the first one to test it. And he sails it down into turn 1, Dale.
Yeah, no problems out there. We see all that smoke, and that doesn't always mean that there's fluid down on the track or anything. So they gave it a good check out, and everything's good to go.
Love hearing from Christopher about the week's activities there on the little dirt track, and it's an outlet for him. It's his golf game, so to speak, from time to time, and nothing wrong with keeping your instincts sharp. no matter what you're racing, right?
Yeah. You just have to wonder, though. You see those things flip a few times. I know he's had his couple of times that's happened. You have to wonder, is that going to, are they going to continue to let that? I know Kyle Larson's deal, he's able to continue doing that. But is Christopher Bell someone that they're going to, rein back in just a little bit? You don't know. They'd love to go do it, but you've got a lot tied up in them on this side of it also.
Miller completes his lap on the track. You saw Landon Castle. This is David Starr. Castle, by the way, last week, what a good run for him at Darlington. Didn't pan out the way he wanted it to at the end, Dale, but he was running up in the top 10 most of the day.
It was really impressive, but that just shows how good a talent he really is, and in the right situation that he could be right up there on a regular basis doing that.
38 cars to qualify. No one will be sent home disappointed. They'll all be racing at the Brickyard this afternoon. And as David Starr finishes up, we will step away, bring you the next 3 when we come back to Indy. Back at the Brickyard, Austin Dillon takes to the track in Colleague Racing's number 10. Chad Fincham has finished up his lap, currently 9th on the board at 158 miles per hour even. Dale, doesn't get any better than that.
No. Couldn't go out there and do that if you tried.
Exactly. Interesting story here. Austin Dillon racing for the 2nd year with Colleague Racing at the Brickyard, and in a car which is a little more tuned toward his teammate Justin Haley. Dale, there's some things you do if you're a veteran like Dillon that you don't do to a rookie like Haley, and so they built the cars the same so that the feedback from Dillon, the veteran, got back to Haley in the same quantity that it should.
Yeah, I like what they've been doing with this race team, is getting some veteran drivers in there to run races. We've seen A.J. Allmendinger be a part of this, just to help move this program along and get that feedback from drivers that have a little bit more experience. And that's just invaluable what they're able to do there. So then get in practice yesterday, and then they compare those notes about what the cars are like, and is this something we should incorporate into both of them.
And if Dillon's car was way different than Haley's, the feedback just wouldn't apply.
No, exactly right. Yes. So they start them as close as they can and then go in their directions as to what they think it needs to get, either a little more handling, a little more drivability, or a combination of both to get there to get the best speed.
Austin would love to add a Brickyard trophy to his trophy case. Saw his car owner, Matt Colleague, at dinner last night. Confirmed the owner would love another trophy as well.
Yeah. Of course, he'd like to have one because his brother Ty has one here.
That's right. You
wanna
get what your
can't
brother
let
has,
your brother
right?
have something you don't. Yeah. Of course, he's got a Daytona 500 trophy too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That works out pretty nice.
So, yeah, they start comparing, it can get a little rough. Austin to the line. He's going to be off of that Kyle Busch lap. What do you think about that, Dale? Based on the practice speeds you saw yesterday, now some of that was in the draft, of course.
Yeah.
But Kyle's lap is pretty good, single car.
Oh my gosh, I mean, that was just incredible. He obviously didn't lift anywhere around here, but even Austin Dillon, that's a really good lap that he put down, and it's still a second off of what Kyle Busch put up.
Alabama's Mike Harmon had a little interesting incident on track yesterday when he was trying to get to pit road, and Michael Annett was still up at speed around the track. Take a look at that. And just a failure to communicate, as they would say, and that's the bumper cover from the one car.
Yeah, things get a little tight, especially on the exit of these corners. And you can see Michael Annett's car got the worst for wear.
So Austin Dillon had to check up, did not get involved. But as you would say, things escalated quickly as the crew went to work. Michael Annett on air, using the word idiot to describe what had just happened. And, well, Mike Harmon wasn't going to stick with that. Apologize as a team, but you took it to a whole new level, talking about Annett, cameras in your face, and so on and so forth. Applebee's the site for the Rumble, which I don't believe happened. So
yeah, there's a lot. I like the fact that he qualified exactly which Applebee's it was, because there's a few around.
I know.
He's got there on Crawford Road. That's didn't want to make any mistakes about how you came to the wrong place. I was there. Oh, interesting though. Yeah, just a small incident escalated to that, but highly entertaining. I
checked in with Mike this morning, and he regretted the name calling. But and I checked in with the team. They said they ate at Chili's. So
good choice.
There's Annett's car repaired. He had a 30-minute extra from NASCAR to get that worked on this morning, so they will be ready to go and hopefully repaired it just right. They've obviously gotten through technical inspection, so it should be spot on. Meanwhile, back to things racing only. This is Tommy Joe Martins in the 66, completing his lap. 93 of Josh Bilicki on as well.
I think we probably see as much disparity in the speeds in a qualifying session at a track like this that really exposes weaknesses that you may have, or whatever that may be, that will make the difference a lot greater than what we see at most oval tracks that we go to.
Dylan Welch has caught up with another Indiana driver.
And that is Chase Briscoe from Mitchell, Indiana. So we've been talking about how there's the mantra here is kind of that you can go flat out in qualifying. You yesterday in practice didn't say you were able to do that. Have you guys, do you think you've fixed that issue so you can today?
Yeah, I mean, we could go wide open by ourselves. Just in the pack, we were really struggling. So I don't know. I think in qualifying it'll be pretty easy flat, but we made a lot of adjustments. So I don't know really what we're going to have, but hopefully we got a good tune-up on this thing. Just super cool to be here in Indianapolis racing, especially, like yourself, growing up here in Indiana. It's super special. It's special for everybody, but it means a little bit more when you grow up here. So looking forward to hopefully a good day, and just cool to turn laps here.
Thanks, Chase.
Yep, love the tradition, love the history, love the connection Indiana residents have to this place. It's world famous. A lot of people don't even know where Indiana is on a map, but they know about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, you've heard of it for so many years, and all the great things that have gone on at this place, and NASCAR just being a small part of that since 1994.
It's another Ryan Sieg Racing entry driven by J.J. Yaley. How about that, Dale? There are only two drivers that have run both the Indy 500 and
about that,
the 400.
Yeah.
Yaley's one of them. JJ, one of those open wheelers like Chase Briscoe, like Christopher Bell, who thought one day his path would be straight to IndyCar racing. Instead, ended up over at Joe Gibbs Racing, stock car racing for a while there, and has had a long career in NASCAR.
He certainly has made the most of that opportunity and opportunities that he's had along the way. But to think that you're in a very small group, you talk about the small group of winners at this place in NASCAR, then you talk about that small group as we saw, he and Kurt Busch that have run both of these races. Just amazing that you can put yourself in that position.
And not like other NASCAR drivers haven't eyeballed the opportunity in May,
yes,
right?
Yes.
If the timing has to be right with the 600 run down in Charlotte, the opportunity with the race car has to be right, and you have to have some time to put into it.
Yeah, and your skills better be there too.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
Things happen in a hurry with those Indy cars here. I was here for qualifying for the Indianapolis 500 back in May. Just incredible to come here and see for the first time the Indy cars on this track and the speeds that they go. So yeah, you have to put all of that together to make it happen to even get yourself in a position to do that.
Love that low angle look there on the back stretch. What a gopher might see. He's going to see J.J. Yaley finishing up a lap here. And he will be the 16th car to take time at the Brickyard this afternoon. Morgan Shepherd on track, known by fans for a long time in NASCAR. Sure, he had thoughts as a young man of racing in an Indy car here as well. Probably could have done it too. Everything he's done.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Garrett Smithley to the line. So as Smithley completes, we will step away, bring you the next round of qualifiers in Indy. Two weeks from tomorrow, the NTT IndyCar Series finale. That's happening at Laguna Seca. It has been a wild season so far, and who knows who might end up with the Astor Cup after that race. Dale, you ever been out there?
No, I have not.
It's a beautiful racetrack, and of course they've reconfigured it over time, made it extra racy, and these drivers are going to put on a show. See just how close it is.
Yeah, double points awarded in that finale for them, so it should be quite exciting.
You'll see that Sunday, September 22nd on the networks of NBC, and of course coverage all weekend long leading up to it.
Being here, so Simon Pagenaud still in that battle, the Indy 500 winner this year.
That's right.
See if he can top that off with a championship. That's a pretty good year.
Indeed it would be. And Dale, we talk about the possibility of a surprise winner pushing down the playoff cut line. Steve, you're with one who I think would have a shot.
Yeah, I don't think this driver, it couldn't be any better than a surprise winner here at the Brickyard. I got Gray Galding with me, the first driver currently not inside the playoffs, 119 points out. But Gray, you had top 10 at July, Talladega, top 10 at Daytona, great run at Bristol.
Thank you.
What's your look at today's race and the type of racing we're going to see?
You know, I think we're just in Hail Mary mode right now. You know, we're coming to a great track. I love Indianapolis. You know, obviously a lot of history here. It just means a lot to race here, but to race here with this package that we have, I really think it levels the playing field a lot. You know, us being a smaller organization with SS Greenlight Racing, you know, this is our race to get in right here. And I feel like we're going to probably have a big wreck or two, and we just got to stay out of it, but also stay in the draft all day and fight as hard as we can.
Yeah, I mean, your consistency's been great. You've been in the top 15, 9 of the top 11, or 9 of the last 11 races. Good consistency. You mentioned the draft.
Yeah.
You have a start here, but it was in the Cup side.
Right.
Never
A lot
an
different.
Xfinity Series race here. What is it like out there in the draft? You expect to see, what, 6, 8, 10-car packs?
I think so. I think you're going to see, you know, you saw it last year, right? You saw guys up front, 4 or 5 cars deep. They were trying to pull away from the field. I think you're going to see that today, too, guys trying to be smart and try to get a gap on the guys behind them. But I think the restarts are going to be key. You know, you saw the last year's race. You're going to have to fight as hard as you can for at least 3 or 4 laps. So I think our Panini JT Marine Chevrolet is pretty good. We didn't draft a whole lot yesterday, but I don't really know where we're going to qualify, but I love Speedway racing, and it's just like a Speedway race.
That's what I was going to say. So last year, record number of yellows. We're seeing more and more lead changes every time with this package. Is it attack from the word go, or is it sit back and see if the race kind of comes to you?
No, it's go. It's all
like
go, man. You got to drop the hammer on this one. I'm excited about it. Like I said, it's a fun package. NASCAR and Xfinity getting together and doing this again. Like I said, it levels things out for the smaller guys, and I think we'll have a shot at it. We just have to be smart, work pit strategy. If we can grab some stage points, that'd be nice, but right now we can't point our way in. So if we can stretch some fuel or maybe get a rain cloud or something, we're going to stay out and do whatever we can to be aggressive and try to win and kiss the bricks at the end.
Yeah, the trophies what matter, not a lot of stories. Hey, listen, I appreciate you came and talked to us. I think it was back in July. You had a great season. I know that, you're right there, 13th on the grid. Maybe a few more races you could have found a way, but we wish you luck in the Hail Mary, as you put it. But I think this is the type of race you can get it done with.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, brother.
Good time. Greg Galding at qualifying here up next as we see Austin Cindric currently on the track, Dave.
Yeah, speaking of hammer down, Cindric not afraid to do that here, and Team Penske not afraid to do it over the years, Dale. 18 Indy 500 wins here, including this year with Simon Pagenaud. Trying to get their second Xfinity Series win. Brad Keselowski did that back in 2012 when they first ran here in a Dodge.
Yes, so a Ford hasn't won a pole here or an Xfinity race yet. So a lot to be accomplished there for Mr. Penske's side if they can pull that off. Austin Cindric told us yesterday on NASCAR America that his goal is just to see if they could accumulate a few more playoff points. He's got those couple of wins that help out, but looking for a little bit more security as they get into the playoffs, but feels very strongly about their efforts.
Cindric was not able to grab that pole away from Kyle Busch. We saw John Hunter Nemechek a little earlier with a great run to second place. Greg Galding's teammate Ray Black has been on the track, put his car in the top 10 momentarily. Stephen Light also taking time. Lining up these cars, Dale, no drivers will go home. 38 entries this weekend. It's a 38-car field per the normal with this Xfinity Series. Yeah,
and a lot of times here in a qualifying effort that we see is, your draw could determine how good your lap may be. So if you can get there before, the track heats up anymore, but we've had a little bit of a cloud cover, so it's kind of kept it neutral. But I think Kyle Busch probably got in at a really good, not that he needed any help to go there and set a fast time, but it was probably beneficial to him. But the track hasn't heated up much, if any at all, since he went out.
Going through the gears with Justin Haley. Indiana boy who at a birthday party at age 9 saw his cousin's quarter midget car, said, could I take that for a little spin in the driveway? a few hundred laps later, he was begging his mom to have one of those, and she said, well, as long as your stepdad and you do that together, I'm okay with that. They got their own quarter midget, and the Kokomo Quarter Midget Club was where Haley got his start. Good memories there.
Yeah, their story's just so interesting. It's how these young drivers get their start, where they came from, their passion for it, and you know, continuing to chase their dream and that opportunity to race on the biggest stage.
He talked with Dylan Welch about the paint scheme there. I call it bold beige. We hadn't had anyone else come up with a better name for it, so we're going to go with that. That was what his grandfather ran on their drag car, straight liner, when they were growing up. And Justin wanted to gift the family with seeing it on track this way. They were talking about doing it last weekend at Darlington, but the team said, you know what we ought to do? Let's take it to Indy. Let's take it to your home state and run it there. And it's been a great look.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. But you know, each week when they start doing this, you have to do something, you get your mindset a little bit differently as we look at Christopher Bell here on the racetrack, because we're, you know, what we're used to seeing with this team and the colors of their sponsor and everything. So just a different look for them.
Yeah, that's right. The green of leaf filter stepping aside this weekend to see that for the family. So that's good. All right, so we saw Kyle Busch's amazing lap. We know Christopher Bell has the same stuff, tracking just 0.2 off from his teammate now. Haley completes his lap. That'll be 5th for the moment.
Hey, Dave, one thing I'm noticing about Christopher Bell, you were mentioning Kyle Busch, the current pole sitter. If you look at Bell, he actually loses time on the long straightaways. Pretty good through the corner. So DJ, I wonder if he doesn't have just a little more downforce turned in his car than the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. And that's understandable with a younger driver here. But I think that'll benefit him here this afternoon in the race.
Picture this, Noah Gragson with a good lap for Junior Motorsports. He crosses the line. And as we head to break, we'll see Noah for the moment in 7th position. We showed you those early days pictures of Justin Haley. Well, what about Denny Hamlin? Where did he come from? How did he get here? Racing Roots is next here on NBCSN. And then more Monster Energy Series practice, the last one they get today, followed by Countdown to Green and Xfinity Series Racing right here at the Brickyard. Going to be a good day, GJ. It already has been.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous weather.
Yeah, beautiful up here. Temperature's not too high. And I will say, if you haven't seen that Racing Roots Denny Hamlin, it's a great watch. And you'll understand and appreciate everything that he and his family went through to get Denny in this situation that he's in now.
Don't have to write the drama into that one. It was real life all the way through. Stephen Parsons has taken time, or is on track. He's on track, has not taken the checkers at this point. And you can see where he's tracking compared to the fast lap of the day. That is for Kyle Busch in the 18 car this weekend. Always a story, always fast. And he'll be one to beat today. Chase Briscoe on track as well.
Yeah, this is a driver and team that you have to wonder, are they that fourth that are going to get in? We talk about the big three. Who's going to join them at Homestead? Chase Briscoe's had put the last few months together, been really, really solid for him.
Reddick, Bell, and Custer probably, if they don't have disasters, will find themselves in Miami for the championship race, but you never know.
No, we thought that about Justin Allgaier last year, and
I know.
he wasn't there.
Yep. That's why they race, right, Dale?
That's right.
Cliche. Briscoe, by the way, it's fun to see. Last week ran a Parnelli-Jones paint scheme at Throwback Weekend at Darlington, and Parnelli, the 1963 winner of the 500 right here. And now he gets to race here at the Brickyard.
Yeah, so that's 7th quickest. Stephen Parsons clocked in. He's 14th now. Really good lap for him around him.
Very good lap. A couple more races for Stephen this year for Carl Long's group there. Or sorry, BJ McLeod's. I get my
and you can just see him improving every time that he gets in the car, too, getting a little more comfortable with it.
Ryan Sieg, how comfortable is he? That car, second off the pace, but Dale handling well and under the leadership of Shane Wilson. Got a lot going on, possibilities there today.
Sure do. They're gonna be interesting to track when we get to the playoffs. Now we talked about next week doesn't start their playoffs like the Cup Series, so they get through next week. Then they start on a short track at Richmond, and Ryan Sieg can make some noise there at that short track. And how far, can he advance through that first round and get there and get himself in a position? This team has much improved over the years.
You see right here, we're on the helmet cam. Jeff Burton, Dad Ward Burton, there in the bottom of the screen. And I like this helmet cam view, DJ. My question to you, so from above, from the sky, this place looks like a rectangle. You would think it would be very consistent, the 4 90-degree corners. I know from a crew chief, they're anything but consistent. It takes a very different setup. But from a driver, why don't you take us a lap around Indianapolis as we ride on the helmet cam with Jeff Burton? They talk about running wide open, but what's really the approach to these 4 different corners?
Yeah, okay, so if you look overhead, as we've done many times, they all have 9 degrees of banking, which is up close to the wall, I think. That feels like it's extremely flat as you get an approach turn 1. Approaching turn 1 and 3 couldn't be more different from a driver's perspective. You can see trying to stay wide open through this, then a little bit of an arc into turn 2 because you want to utilize everything you can going down this long back straightaway. So even though 2 and 4 are supposed to be the same, they're going to look totally different. This is the most difficult corner as a driver I ever thought because there's really nothing to judge by. You come in here and it looks like you could run so far down in here and go anywhere that you want, but you really can't. You need to be right around the bottom and making this the shortest way around and staying in the throttle as Jeb is doing. Really good. Another wide arc into this corner, drive as straight off as you can because that wall comes up in a hurry. You want to use all the track. What a good lap here for Jeff Burton, doing a really nice job around here and helping me out to show exactly what the driver goes through and making a good solid lap.
And Dave, that's by yourself. You know, I'm not sure I want to go out there with 30 other guys.
Imagine that. Jeremy Clements in the 51 car, he's done that all 7 times, the only active driver to run all those races in the field this afternoon. Talked to Jeremy about that this weekend. He said, yep, first time I came here, it was so cool just to be here, and it's been fun ever since. Last year's winner, Justin Allgaier, trying to repeat if he can and bring back some magic, Dale, that's been missing from his 2019 season.
Yeah, they just can't put a whole race together. You know, when they have really good cars, they started off a little slow, then they got things righted, but they just haven't had the racing luck on their side. But man, what a great job he did last year in getting this car to victory lane, making all the right moves.
Look how far back he is.
Yeah.
And the perfect move. And a little help from a teammate?
Oh my gosh, yeah, well, you need help in this type of situation. You know, it's a lot like Daytona and Talladega. You got to have a little bit of a partner, but you got to be ready to take a little bit of a chance too. And Justin Allgaier did that, felt comfortable in his car and in his abilities to do all of this and get the checkered flag.
And I really feel, though, guys, today's race is going to look so similar. The racing is going to be just like that at the end. You have to make all the right decisions, get all the right lanes, have the right help from a teammate. Man, it's really going to be a captivating race, and the finish, I think, could be breathtaking.
I think you're right. You see the runner-up finishes for him since then, Dale. 4 times.
Yeah.
Second, but not victory lane.
Yeah, just can't get there. And, you know, I know that he wants that. He was on NASCAR America with us yesterday afternoon too, and you can tell in his voice that he wants to get that win, but he's not putting that pressure on them as they go into the playoffs. He knows that they're in a much better position now than when they started this season as far as being able to advance through the playoffs and get themselves in an opportunity to win the championship this year.
Ronnie Bassett Jr., his first time at the Brickyard, told me how intimidating in a really cool sort of way that the Brickyard was when he walked in. Trying to make his first run here a successful one. Was talking with car owner Mario Goslin about that when I saw him in the tech line earlier today, about how to set up the passes, Dale, and how to achieve them. You can really not have the fastest car in the field, but do it just right.
Yeah, you have to understand what your car's capable of doing, what you're capable of doing, and what is going to benefit you the most in trying to make a pass. So if you try to do a lot as you enter these corners, you're going to find yourself a lot of times getting in a bad spot that's going to create a loss of momentum. And with the little bit of horsepower they have running these restrictor plates here, that can be detrimental in making that. You probably won't make that pass, and you might lose 3 or 4 spots with that. So be very calculating and understand how the draft works and where the best spot is to complete your passes.
Checkered flag for Bassett. Welcome to Indy. Meanwhile, you saw some green there on the ticker, Dale.
Oh my gosh, how about Brandon Jones? He was fast right from the start yesterday as the cars went on the track in that first practice session. He kind of set the standard in that and just basically single car runs that they were doing. He's got another great lap going right here. First driver we've seen even challenge Kyle Busch.
Jones off of corner number 4 down the long straightaway to the yard of bricks to receive the checkered flag, and it's going the wrong way. Not quite going to do it.
Oh, gosh, what a great lap, though. Just a tenth off of Kyle Busch there. Well, second quick.
And Joe Gibbs Racing, first, second, and third here in qualifying.
You say that surprised, Steve.
Well, I say that a little surprised. You can see Kyle Busch over in this Cup garage
nervous,
having a little lunch,
yeah,
seeing how it is. I really wonder, though, this is the guy. I think of the 2 cars that are left, I really think that the 00 here of Cole Custer has the best chance of trying to break up that top 3. I'm not sure he has pole-winning speed. I actually ran into Custer yesterday during practice. They were fighting a little bit of a vibration in practice, but remember, just a week ago, this battle right here with Denny Hamlin and Cole Custer ends up being the winner. Even though Denny Hamlin sees the checkered flag first, he's thrown out for an infraction post-race. And I like my man on, Stone Cold Cole Custer with a double beer celebration, DJ. I like it. I mean, you got to really commit to dump 2 beers on yourself in blue jeans.
Yes, you do.
Right, it's one thing in a sweaty fire suit, but you got to do it in blue jeans and a golf shirt.
Yep.
Every time I talk to his personality, every time I talk to Cole Custer, his personality is coming out. He seems to be more comfortable as a race car driver, becoming more comfortable as a star in the Xfinity Series, and I think it shows behind the wheel. Yeah,
it really does. And I tell you, that battle that he gave Denny Hamlin at Darlington, and you're talking about one of the best ever at Darlington in Denny Hamlin, and Cole was giving him everything that he could handle there. And as we know, he eventually got the win by that. But this is a driver already being talked about. You know, we know that Christopher Bell is moving on to the Cup Series next year. Is Cole Custer going to be in that same situation here? He has the skills, the talents. It's just a matter of whenever that ride opens up that he can make that move.
Reddick, Custer Bell. Reddick, Custer Bell. We want that Rookie of the Year battle, but they're going to need race cars.
That would be spectacular.
Be fun to see. Listening to the throttle there. I'm not hearing any lift, Dale. That's what he wants, but he's not tracking in the green.
I think those Gibbs cars just had that perfect balance of trimmed out enough to get all the speed on the straightaways, but they had them handling good enough to keep it wide open through the corners, and just what you're looking for as a driver. So Cole Custer's going to be in 11th spot there.
Should race well from there. Crew Chief Mike Shiplett telling me this morning we're not going to have all-out single car speed, but we're going to drive well. That's going to get us to victory lane.
Well, in years past, though, this type of qualifying would perhaps signify maybe not the best race, but not at all with this package, DJ. When they all get out there together, even though those Joe Gibbs cars have more single car speed, when they line up, the draft is real, just like Daytona and Talladega, and I expect to see packs of cars.
There's a man on the pole. It is Kyle Busch, Dylan.
And all 3 Joe Gibbs Racing cars on the top of the board. Kyle the fastest. So what do you guys have that everybody else is trying to find?
They gave me the best stuff. They always do. No, it's just all the hard work at Joe Gibbs Racing and Mark Cronquist in the engine department. You know, the guys do a great job. So, you know, we always prepare well and try to prepare well when we come to big races like this. We know what they mean, and, you know, it's cool to have all 3 of our cars up front like that. So hopefully today's a good day for us, and, you know, we can figure out how to bring it home for our combo Supra. But I'm sure those other 2 JGR guys are hungry as well.
5th Indy pole in 6 races in the Xfinity Series for Kyle Busch.
Love it, and a shout out to Cronky. That's always good in the engine department. We'll be back to wrap things up from here in Indy. As you're acutely aware, a lot of folks affected by Hurricane Dorian this week in the Bahamas and all along the East Coast. If you would like to help, visit redcross.org or text Dorian to 90999 to donate $10 to the American Red Cross Hurricane Dorian Relief. I know those folks would surely appreciate it. Dale, this afternoon, Xfinity Series racing at 2:30. What do you expect after seeing qualifying?
Yeah, it's not Daytona and Talladega pack racing, but we're going to see cars in a pack. I think there's 10 or 12 drivers that we're going to see try to take this race this afternoon. They know they have to outrun Kyle Busch, but they're up for the challenge, I believe.
The aero package here makes it a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss it this afternoon. Coming up next, racing routes from Denny Hamlin, and then Monster Energy Series practice. Thanks, everyone.